Today I wanted to address a few problems that students have said that they are encountering while working on Inventor with their iPad. The first one is, let's say for example, I was working on this project before lunch. I saved it, came back to it after lunch, and one of the problems that students are doing that instead of editing this sketch, they're coming up to the ribbon bar at the top and they're placing another sketch on top of their front view. Now the reason this is a problem is because when you take and you come up to the top to get a dimension and to create on this, you can see that none of my geometry underneath that sketch is highlighting. It can be frustrating. But if you think about this and take a look at the browser bar, the model browser bar on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see I have multiple sketches over here. These are what are called unconsumed sketches. You should only have one sketch unconsumed over here, and here I have 3 that are listed. So we need to get rid of 2 of those and edit the one that our geometry is on. So in order to do that, we're going to go finish the sketch. Then I'm going to take my pull down shade, get my mouse. I'm going to come over here to my model browser bar. I'm going to click on Sketch 9 and nothing's there, nothing highlights. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to go to my next sketch, Sketch 4. Click on that. There's nothing on that sketch either, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete it. When I go to Sketch 3 and put my mouse on top of it for my cursor, when I click on that, do you see how everything highlights on my model? Okay, that's the one that I want to right click on and I want to edit this sketch. Okay, once I edit that sketch, I'm going to put away my mouse and get my pointer tool back out. And now I can come up to the top, get my dimension tool. I can come down here and I can grab a point for my geometry and things will edit for me. I can also take and rectangular pattern, select my geometry, that first point that we created. I can pick my direction. I can flip the arrow that's on there. I can enter in my quantity, bring up my keyboard. I like working, you heard me before, I like working with the number pads instead of swiping down on a letter. I'm going to delete that 2 and put 5 in there. I'm going to come down to my spacing and enter in 0.75 and click OK. And you can see how that works, and I created some more geometry on there. You got to remember to go back and edit a sketch. Don't keep putting sketch on top of sketch. Another problem that students have been encountering is when they come over and open up a drawing, their model browser on the left-hand side is gone, or the navigation bar on the right-hand side is gone. And usually that happens because by accident or on purpose, that gets closed out or X'd out. And the same thing with your navigation bar on the right-hand side. That gets X'd out. A way to bring those back, it's not a big deal. We just have to go above the ribbon bar to the View tab, and we're going to select the View tab up here in the top. Once we have that selected, I'm going to go to User Interface, and I'm going to check the box for the navigation bar, and that brings that back up on the right-hand side. You see that over here? And I'm going to check box for the model browser, and that brings my model browser back up on the left-hand side. The only thing you have to remember is after you do this and bring that back up, your ribbon bar looks different. So you're either going to have to go back to the Sketch tab. Do you see how I have that highlighted blue? In order to get your ribbon bar back to the way that it looks, or model browser bar over here in order to change it to the correct ribbon that you want. Here I'm still in my sketch, so I'm going to come over here and finish that sketch. The last problem that some students have been running into is the fact that when they are in the cam area of Inventor and they're setting up a part, I've talked about these tabs that are up here, that if you cannot view them, that you should take your mouse, come over here to the side, click on that, and expand this out in order to view all the tabs that are going across there. And I think what's happening is sometimes students, you're undocking this model browser. And what I mean is you're clicking on this top part and you're pulling it out of where it belongs. Okay? Now mine showed up and it looks kind of small, and I can still see the OK and cancel that are down here at the bottom. However, some of them are expanding really large and you're losing the OK or cancel at the bottom of the menu here. And what we need to do to fix this problem is redock this model browser. So we're going to come up here between the plus and these pancakes that are up here. I'm going to click, hold down, and I'm going to drag this over to the left-hand side of the screen. And when you get that highlight blue on the left-hand side of the screen, let go of it, and it's going to redock itself on the left-hand side. That's where we want it. Problem is, I still can't see my OK and my cancel that are down at the bottom. And that's because I like working with this keyboard shortcut that's pinned down here at the bottom. In order to work on this over on the right-hand side, I need to unpin it, that blue pin, and now I can fully access that OK and cancel button at the bottom. However, after I'm done, I definitely like working with that, so I'm going to bring my keyboard back up and repin that when I'm done using it. Okay, kind of keep these in mind as you're going through working on Inventor. Hopefully this helps out with some of those problems. And as always, let me know if you run into anything else I can help with. Have a great day.